Let's talk about panels. Layers, history, and brush setting are the main panels that we focus in this course. Layers will help to organize your scene. History holds a record of what you did in the scene, and brush setting specifies the setting of your brush. We will cover brush setting in very detail in later video. I just covered the important icon, not all of them. By pressing this one, you create a new layer. If you double click on it, you can rename the layer. If you press this icon, you can delete the layer. This icon creates a new folder or a new bin. You can hold your layer inside it to organize the layer. To move this item to this group, you can hold Shift to select all of them and drag and drop it inside the folder. Now all of the items are inside it. Or you can select all of the layers and press this icon. This way, all of the selected layer will automatically go inside the folder. If you want to bring out a layer from a group, click on that layer and drag it outside the layer. When you see these blue lines, release the button. Or you can select the group, right click, and then press Ungroup Layers. So now all of the 3 layers are outside the group. If you click on the eye icon, you can hide the layer. If you want to hide several layers together, click on the first one, hold the left mouse button, and drag on the other layers. So all of them will be turned off. Again, if you want to turn on several layers, click and hold and drag. So all of them will appear. If you want to isolate one layer and you don't want to see other layer, hold Alt and click on the selected layer. Now only that layer is activated. Again, if you hold Alt and click, all of the hidden layer will be returned back. When you select a layer, you can control the opacity here. You can also change the layer mode. There are 4 main categories of layer mode. This group is usually make the color darker, and this group make the layer lighter. This is also make the layer lighter, but in a different way. In the darker group, multiply and darken is most common to use. Multiplies make a color saturated when it make it darker, so it work better with color theory. It is more faithful to the color theory. The item in this group make the layer lighter. Screen and lighten is more common to use. Screen is more faithful to the color theory because when it becomes a lighter layer, it also makes the layer less saturated. You will become more familiar with this concept in color theory lessons later. So screen is a good way to use a layer when you want to make a layer lighter. Overlay is also a good way to make your layer lighter. The history panel keeps a record of what you did in the Photoshop. You can undo what you did and return back to the previous step. You specify the number of history here in Preferences, Performance, here in the History status. If you increase it, more RAM will be occupied, but you will have more undo level to return back. One of the useful items in history is a snapshot. If you look at top of the screen, you can see there is a snapshot. This is the snapshot that automatically is created when you open the file. During your work, you can create your own snapshot. Just click on this icon. If you click on Snapshot Thumbnail, you can return back to the status that you capture when you press this icon. It's useful when you want to compare. For example, let's take a copy from this one and I edit it. Maybe I make it a little larger. Maybe something like this. And I also duplicate this layer. And maybe I add shadow. I take a new snapshot, return back here. This is the scene state without all of the act I did, and this is the new state. You can easily compare which one is better for you. If you have several layers like this and they are separated, you can merge them. It's very easy. Select them, then come here, layer, and merge layers. Or you can right click and select merge layers. Now I have a one layer. If you want to separate a layer to several layers, draw a selection tool, maybe using rectangular marquee tool or elliptical marquee tool, or maybe using lasso tools. Then right click on the selection area and either you can press layer via copy or layer via cut. Now this layer is separated from the other layers. Again, if I want to merge them, you can select both of them and we can press merge layers. Now again I have a single layer. If I want to add something only to this area and not outside of it, only to the opaque area and not to the transparent area, you have several ways. One of them is to hold Ctrl and click on the thumbnail. And click on the thumbnail of the layer. As you can see, the outline of the opaque area of the layer is selected. Now if I paint, I only limited to this area. You can hide it by pressing Ctrl H and it's very easy to work. Don't forget to press Ctrl D to deselect the selection. Another way is to add clipping mask. To create a clipping mask, first add a new layer, then while holding the Alt, hover over the line dividing the two layers. Your mouse turns to this icon to show you that you can create a clipping mask. When you see this icon, then click. Now the new layer has an arrow pointing to the below layer. It means whatever you paint here is limited to this layer. Let's try. As you can see, I cannot paint outside this tree area. Another way is to press this icon and lock the transparent pixel. As you can see, a lock appears in front of the layer. Now you can only paint on the layer. You cannot paint outside of it. You are only limited to this layer. Again, if you press lock transparent pixel, you can unlock the layer.